Hello and welcome back to the Azura Game Club. I'm your coven leader, Emily, and today we're talking about... What are we talking about? Oh, looks like it's something Harry Potter related. Well, I just came back from Hogwarts. As you can see, I'm a Ravenclaw. This side, a Ravenclaw. And I found this chest at Hogwarts, but it's locked. Alohomora. That's right, today we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts, a legacy. And, I think that it's a great game. I honestly really enjoyed Hogwarts Legacy. Because I am a huge fan of Harry Potter, if you didn't know. If you haven't seen my other channel, the Azura Media Club, Harry Potter is my everything. No, but I really have become, I've had a resurgence of Harry Potter in my life, more recently. I was doing the level grind for Pokemon Go when level 80 was, before level 80 was coming out, when level 50 was, gonna be discontinued, and I needed something to listen to while I was grinding and running around and doing all the fun Pokemon Go stuff that you have to do. So I thought, hey, why don't I listen to Harry Potter again? And, you know, I just listened to Harry Potter not that long ago. If you go and look at the other channel, the Azura Media Club, you'll see when it was that I reviewed, I didn't review all the Harry Potter books, but what I did was I ranked all the Harry Potter books. So that was either last year or this year, earlier this year. I mean, this has been a really productive year, so I kind of forget which way that is. So, go and check that out. It was definitely a while ago. Could have been last year, honestly. But I really enjoyed when I did that, and then so it kind of stuck with me. And then I remember earlier this year, I rewatched the movies in like July. And then like in August when I was doing my grind for level 50, which I did achieve, by the way, before the date. It was like a month before. And I remember I was listening to Order of the Phoenix at the time, I think. It was either It must have been Order of the Phoenix, yeah, because it was, because it was the scene where Sirius and Lupin are talking about a memory that Harry had seen in the past where they're, like, torturing Snape or whatever, you know, or torturing, you know, bullying Snape, the Marauders were. And I believe, yeah, it would have been Order of the Phoenix because, he's talking to them in Umbridge's office and he, like, risks all this stuff to get there. But I was listening to that when I got level 50 in Pokemon Go. Anyway, so after I re-listened to the books again, all the way through, I had this really big Harry Potter urge, you know, and I was like, oh, I have this resurgence of Harry Potter, and I'm like, well, you know what would be fun? I've never actually played the Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy game, which was super controversial when it came out because of all J.K. Rowling stuff. And I will say for the billionth time that, of course, I'm a trans person, and, you know, every trans person hates J.K. Rowling or whatever, and it's like, I do not agree with obviously all of the hatred and bigotry that she's put out into the world, but I do really respect her as a writer. It's a fine line to walk, obviously, but, you know, I don't want to say she's like my hero or something, but when I was younger, definitely was a very big inspiration to me and my writing and stuff. But at the same token, I think that it's important to separate the art from the artist, and that's something a lot of people need to really learn and understand. Because it's not easy to do, and I understand that, especially when it's in such a way that she's actively, you know, talking bad about me and my people, and you know, the people, us LGBTQ, especially the T, people, you know, so, in that sense, I think that's really sucks that that's where she's gone with everything, but I do respect the work that she made. These are amazing. They're not just not amazing now because she's a terrible person, that doesn't mean anything, you know? I mean, it does. It means a lot, but it doesn't mean anything to the quality of the books that we loved, you know? And have always loved. If you want to stop, you know, reading Harry Potter or watching the movies, or you don't want to play Hogwarts Legacy because J.K. Rowling's a terrible person now, 100% more power to you. I bought the second hand, so she didn't get any of my money. She got somebody else's money. So all of that just is a big preamble to say, fuck her and her beliefs, but, you know, she wrote some really great stuff. The books are brilliant. The movies are pretty great as well. You know, I watched Sorcerer's Stone when it came out like a million times. This was like my go-to VHS for years and years and years. And then I got, you know, obviously all of the DVDs. You can't see them all over there, but, and then the Blu-rays. I'm still missing 5 through 7 on Blu-ray, but, I'll get them eventually. Anyway, so, Hogwarts Legacy. You know, and what's interesting about Harry Potter and video gaming is actually one of the very first episodes of this series, and it wasn't even this series at the time, but it is the legacy of that series, the Hogwarts legacy of that series. I think it's episode 3. Please don't go watch it, it's so cringy. But it's also copywritten because I used the John Williams score of, like, the Christmas Harry Potter music, so I was, like, walking out in my dad's yard of, like, you know, because it's so majestic. It's actually snowing outside right now, too. This is perfect. I got my, all I want for Christmas is my Hogwarts letter thing, which is funny, because I'm going to get my Hogwarts letter here in a few days, which is so cool. But anyway, I used to play, like, the Harry Potter games back then. I guess you can go and watch the review part of this, but Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is actually a freaking really underrated game. This is great. I remember watching some other people that I used to hang out with at, like, daycare play this on Xbox, and then I got the GameCube version later on, and I played that, and that was really great. And then also the Philosopher's Stone game for GameCube is like this game, but it's also really good. But it's kind of rare, or very uncommon, at least from what I remember. I sold it because it was worth, like, still a bunch of money back when I sold it. So, and I needed the money. So, yeah, but all that is to say that Harry Potter and video game... Oh, and I played the Game Boy Color Harry Potter 2 game. I think I played the first one as well, but I definitely played the second one because I remember... Well, it might have been the first one because I just remember there was a part where you have to go and collect the ingredients for Polyjuice Potion, and for some reason I feel like that was in the first one, in the first Game Boy Color game for whatever reason. I don't think I actually played the second one, although I would like to go back and play them because they're cool, because they're like RPGs, like turn-based RPGs, 2D style, and it's super neat. But all of these games did a pretty decent job of selling Hogwarts, and, you know, for the time you ran around Hogwarts and you were a student, and you were playing as Harry Potter, of course, so you weren't exactly yourself, but it was still a lot of fun, like, you know, just to be in the Harry Potter world. And that was one of the main appeals about this game, was just running around the world, running around Hogwarts, running around, you know, and finding all the Chocolate Frog cards and stuff. This game is a certified classic. So fucking good. I love this game right here. But it's a little bit rudimentary, you know, and its ambition, you know, it couldn't really do everything that it wanted to do, but for what it is, it's great. And it even maybe has a little bit more Hogwarts and classes and stuff than this game does. And that's one of the people's main concerns about this game, is that you weren't really as much of a student as you probably would have wanted to be, but there was a decent amount of it. But I will say that today, when I was finishing the game, I definitely had a moment of, like, you know, Persona 4 ending, where it's like, I just want to do more. I don't want the game to be over, because it's such a good game. There's so much potential to the engine and stuff, and they are developing a sequel now, and I'm really, I really want to play that, you know, whenever that comes out. Oh gosh, am I going to be supporting J.K. Rowling by buying it right away? But of course I will buy it right away, because it's so good. Oh, I got my first wand, by the way. I know I've been waving it around and stuff, but It's Harry's wand. I want to get Luna's wand at some point, but I just bought this because, like, I need something for the review. Because I was going to do the whole... I was going to actually do something else, but I kind of forgot to do it. But I did the Alohomora. I thought that was pretty good, so... But, I don't know how she does that with, like, her... She puts her wand behind her ear, too. Like, I guess that works, but, like, if you walk anywhere like this, the thing's... Actually, it's staying pretty well right now. But it's more than likely gonna fall off your ear. I mean, it does look pretty cool, but, like, at the same token, it's like, yeah, no. So, but okay, so let's get into it. I loved this game right here. Hogwarts Legacy is so freaking good. There are so many good angles and aspects to the game, and I understand that it's maybe not what everyone was expecting, and they could have definitely done more with it. But you know what? Honestly, it is not a game where I would say that this game is unfinished. I would just say I wanted more, which is a good thing, I suppose, because it leaves me hungry for a sequel. But a game like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is an unfinished game. And I think that that is a good game, but also not a good game at the same time for that exact reason. And it's why I'm so conflicted on the game, is because there are good elements to it, but it wasn't a finished game. So, I mean, that is a problem. This game is not an unfinished game. It's just something that could have had more to it than it did, which isn't necessarily a problem. It is in a sense, but what I loved about the game, let's just talk about that, because I loved so many things about this game. First of all, it is the first Harry Potter game that I have played that you get to make a character. You are a Hogwarts student now. I really wish that there was some kind of way to start in the first year so that you can just go throughout the entire thing. That would be super cool. Do 7 years of wizarding school. I really hope that's more what the sequel is. Although, if you do that, then it's like, you know, in the rumors that the sequel is going to take place during Harry Potter's time. So either you're going to be a new student and you're not going to get to see any of the Harry Potter stuff, or you're going to play as Harry Potter and then it's just these games again, you know, like, which is fine. And I kind of do want that, of course, but, you know, a Harry Potter, all of the games like in this style. But at the same token, I want to do what this game did, where I want to play as my own, you know, self-insert wizarding student and just be a Hogwarts student and do cool stuff and run around the overworld and stuff. That was the best part of the game, is I just got to walk around Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and the entire Highland, the Scottish Highlands, you know, which, like, is so perfect. And I know that, like, I'm not in the time of actual Harry Potter, but there are a lot of references to that time. But it didn't matter, because the wizarding world is just so magical that, in a sense, it just doesn't matter if it is during the time of Harry Potter. It's almost better that it wasn't during the time of Harry Potter, so that we're not, like, crushed down by that. Although I would like to see a game where you're not Harry Potter set in the time of Harry Potter, so that you can kind of see those events happen or take place. But then you would have to also be a friend of Harry Potter's, and then just you'd be like the fourth member of the Golden Trio, which doesn't make any sense. But, you know, they could do something like that, or you're just gonna play as Harry Potter, which, like, okay, like, that kind of sucks too, because then it's like, you know, I liked that I was able to play not only, well, okay, here's what I want to see. I want to see when they do the HBO series and when they make this new Hogwarts Legacy game where, you know, there'll be the 7 years of Harry Potter or whatever. Make Luna a character from the beginning. Luna is my favorite character of Harry Potter and of, like, a lot of things. Like, probably top 5 characters of anything, you know? I just love Luna so much. I love her actress, Ivana Lynch. I listened to her book. I should have had that here. I don't know why I didn't have that here, but I listened to her book. Really, really kind of, very, very heartbreaking stuff, but also she's such a good storyteller of it. You're really there in the thick of things, with her battle, with her eating disorder and all of that, which is super interesting. But I love Luna, and I love Luna Lovegood. She loves Luna Lovegood. You know, obviously she played the character, but she fought so hard to play that character, and all of that, to really get there. And it was sort of this underdog story, which is nice. And I really think that that's super cool. But, Little Lovegood is my favorite character. Put her in the earlier books, and there you go. That's because what is she doing? What is she doing in the earlier books? Like, isn't she gonna have some kind of crazy theory about a basilisk or something in Chamber of Secrets, and then she actually turns out to be right, like she always is? Like come on, like put Luna in the earlier books. Anyway, all of that to say, I love that I can be a self-insert character, just myself, Harry Potter, however I want to make myself. The thing about me and my character model, though, is that, like, she smiles all the time, even when you're, like, hearing this like, terrible news. She's got, like, a slight smirk on her face. It's very odd. They need to fix that. It's kind of like the Sun and Moon issue. Your character is just constantly smiling, and they don't have any other model. At least in Pokemon X and Y. I don't know why Pokemon is coming up so much. At least in Pokemon X and Y, they actually had a thing where your character would have different expressions, and they were like amazed by, you know, like Xerneas and stuff when that happens. And that's the scene I always think of when I'm thinking of it. You know, the pensive. Is the scene where you find Xerneas versus the scene where you find the legendary in X and Y, or like the villains in X and Y. There's a bunch of scenes, or sorry, Sun and Moon. There's a bunch of scenes in Sun and Moon where anytime there's bad stuff happening, you're just still smirking the whole time. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? Anyway, that was one thing I noticed about the character models in this game, is that they do that a lot. They're kind of weird too. I mean, I don't mean to dog on like the animation or like the style or whatever, but which is fine. It's a great style. I really like the style, but like definitely some of the, like, when they're talking looks a little awkward sometimes. I don't know how to explain it. It's just maybe it's Uncanny Valley or something. I don't know, but it's fine. You get used to it, kind of thing. But I really enjoyed. Okay, so I was, you know, you're the character. You start as a 5th year for some reason. That's kind of odd and awkward, but you know, like they want you to be able to, like, know all of these spells, and you're not gonna, like, you know, be behind or whatever. So I guess I get it, but, like, at the same time, it's like, don't we want to start as a 1st year and just do all the years? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, yeah, I would really enjoy that. I hope they do that someday, but you get to design your character. You can change anything about your character except for their face, so make sure you choose the right face and kind of the right voice, because you can't, I don't think you can change that either. But there's like a couple of female voices, or, you know, like female presenting voices, whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, you have a couple of male voices. So definitely based on what you're sort of doing, be sure to kind of figure that out at the start. But you can change like your hair color and your eye color and all that kind of stuff. It's just your face type and that you can't really change. There is a trans character in the game later on, but there's not that many. It's just the one, as far as I could tell. Serona Ryan, who runs the 3 broomsticks. But there's even a line where she's like, a lot of times, or people used to mistake me for a wizard, although I'm a witch, or something to that effect. And it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, you know, and she's cool, but not exactly one of the more notable characters in the game. There's a few quests where you kind of interact with her for a minute, but I guess we can talk about that. I mean, there's a decent amount of side quests and stuff, so that's cool. Although, by the time I had finished them all, I spent like 74 hours to complete the whole game, basically. And by the time I had finished them all, I was a little surprised that was it, kind of thing. You know, like, I did feel like I got my worth out of it. Like, 74 hours is nothing to sneeze at, and I got this game for like $20 or something, so... but you kind of feel like when you have this big open world, and there's all these little towns and stuff that you, like, only do a couple of quests in each, or just maybe one quest per town, or some of the quests are kind of just short, you know. I don't know, I have this like mentality when I'm playing an open world game now that it's gonna be like Skyrim, where there's just gonna be infinite content. So I guess I was just a little surprised when, like, and I should have known, because like there weren't more side quests popping up and like little icons to show that there were side quests. But I kind of figured there'd at least be a few more after that. But at some point near the end of the game, they just kind of stopped showing up. And I'm like, okay. And so then when I did the last one, which was like a treasure hunting one, they're like, I got the achievement that is like, oh, hey, you completed all the side quests. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's cool. But like, I don't know. It was kind of that realization at that moment that I'm like, oh, no, the game's coming to an end. But on top of that, I did go and do all of the achievements and, you know, fight enough enemies and all of that, which is kind of arbitrary, I understand, but the dueling achievements sometimes are a little bit annoying too, but hey, they get you to do kind of unique things sometimes, which is neat. So you gotta do those a bunch of times, you know. There's like, what was the other ones? Exploration ones, you know, so you, like, there's one for quests, so like, you just basically complete all the quests and then you got all of those. There were like exploration ones. You have these things, Revelio, you know, Revelio pages, so you, at certain oh my god, they're so annoying sometimes though. I went, that fucking fountain at the beginning of the game in that common area, you know, like right near the grand stairs. I went to that thing and I circled that thing like 50,000 times. Throughout the game, you walk through there like 100 freaking times, and I couldn't find the goddamn Revelio. And then it's on the side in between two students, and then because I heard the little jingle when I was in the room. I'm like Revelio, and I'm like, and I'm like, where's it at? Where's it at? I know it's this fountain. It's near this fountain, and I know it's here. Where is it? And then I go between the two students, and I'm like, God damn it! I should have found this at the beginning of the game. What the fuck? So anyway, sometimes they're annoying. Outside of Hogwarts, out in the world, it kind of shows you when you've hit Revelio near a Revelio page. The thing is, they get glitched sometimes. Some of the stuff in this game is a bit glitched, and that is a little bit disappointing, but also I'm playing the PS4 version, so there was a lot of load times. That's probably my main criticism of the thing, and it wasn't that bad, but the load times were like eternal. They were like at least a minute to 2 minutes sometimes if you're trying to like fast travel. But a lot of the times, if you have to go to that little, like, coast area, it is just easier to fast travel, because then, otherwise you have to go through the stupid cave, you have to fly over to the cave, you have to go through the cave, you know, there's all those enemies and stuff, and you're not going to be able to fly over them, you're just going to have to run past them, so it's like, fuck it, I'll just wait the few minutes to fast travel, you know, basically. But, if you can get used to that, there's really that much else wrong with the game, outside of the fact that you're not really going to do more than like a few you do like each class like once, you know, basically, which is like you do a divination class, you do like a potions class, you do like a beasts class, you do a transfiguration class, I think, but you don't really get to do that one. A lot of these classes too are like put into cutscenes, and it's like you don't actually get to do the class. Oh, you do a herbology class, of course. Defense Against the Dark Arts is a really early one, so you can learn Accio, or Accio, or whatever. And then they do that Summoner's Court game, too, which is so bullshit, by the way. You know what's so fucked about that, though? The last one of those, where you're facing against the professor, or whatever, I did the first time. I did it the first time. All the other ones took me a long time to do. But that was only because there was, like, these spots that were worth 100 points, and then he kept pushing his to the ones at the end that, like, the area with the 50 points. So then, or on to the 100-point ramps, but they're so small so that when I hit his ball, they fall off into a lesser pointage, and one of his balls just fell off at the end anyway. Like, I'm like, you're the professor, shouldn't you be like the master at this class, but like at this game? But like, I guess not. Also, flying your broom is really cool. It's a little wonky to control at first, but then when you get the upgrades, it feels a lot better, I feel like. Maybe that was just, like, I was more acquainted with it at that point, but the flying trials are also really cool. stuff like that is just neat. You know, the music when you're flying your broom in the trials is so good. That's like one of my favorite tracks. But just flying around the overworld too, in most spots that you could fly in. The only spots you can't like really fly in are like Hogsmeade. You can't really fly like over mountains and stuff. So like sometimes you'll be like roadblocked where you're gonna have to like fly around. But still, the broom is such a handy thing to get around the world and like do all of that. So. And I mean, I like the flu powder system. It's just, which is your fast travel system, but like, it's fun to discover those. But also, at the same time, it's like, realistically, it's tough because it's like, it takes so long, like I said, to travel between those. It's like, you might as well just fly there, and you might find something along the way, like a magical creature spot, or like a Merlin trial, or like a ancient magic spot, which are all things that happen. So there's like the Merlin trials where there are these little mini games that you have to do throughout the world, and sometimes they're really difficult to like find the thing and then like put it where it's supposed to be, or like there's a couple of them that are like really hidden. Sometimes this game just has like really weird like small things that you could miss like super easily. That's why Revelio is so helpful, but like at the same token it's like some of them, it just takes you a while, and then you, like, finally find it, you're like, oh, there it is, okay. But, to the most part, I would say, that, I would say that they were fun until I had to, like, you get a little sick of them after a while, and you only have to do so many for the achievement anyway, so after a while I just kind of said screw it and basically moved on to do other sort of things. But I like how it I like how when I put it there it covered up Daniel Radcliffe's face like perfectly, just was funny. Not that I don't have any vitriol against him or anything. I mean, it's just J.K. Rowling, really. None of them agree with his thing. Her thing, her tyranny or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, those, and then they'll give you extra inventory space for like your gear that you pick up throughout the world, because that's like the main collectible. Oh, this is it. This is the broom racing one. Also, this is another thing that they play like during classes and whatever. Like when they do the cutscenes, whatnot. Oh gosh, this makes me think of the time, because there's like, it's at the very beginning of, I don't want to say it's my favorite quest line, but it kind of is, because there's like 3 main quest lines that you do outside of the main quest of like these 3 important characters, which also, by the way, Ravenclaw got shafted, what the fuck? That is one thing I will say about the game, is that like, just like everywhere else in the Wizarding world, which I'm a Ravenclaw, so that's the thing. We are the most underrepresented house. They have Poppy Swinning, who's a Hufflepuff and an absolute dear, and I love her. Freaking Sebastian Sallow, who's a Slytherin, and he's cool, but he's like also kind of a dark, conflicted character. And then they have Natty Onai or whatever, who's the Gryffindor girl, and she's also from the other Wizarding school, which is the one Ouagadougou, I think it's called, in Africa or Uganda or whatever. So I thought that was really cool that they were kind of bringing in that representation too. Also an Animagus, by the way, which that's cool. That's something cool about her. Her storyline was definitely the weakest of the 3, but the Poppy one, the music just reminded me, that's why I'm talking about it. I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but the Poppy one, reminded me of that scene where, you're doing it, it's like the first quest you're doing with her, and then you go and get this Highwing, I think, right? The Hippogriff. Or maybe it's not, no, it's not her. It actually is in the Natty, quest, right? Because you're saving Highwing, wait, no, but she's definitely there, right? Is that it? Because you're flying that... Oh, yeah, it is her. Because you go to this castle, and you, like, break into this castle, you save this Hippogriff, who's not High Wing, I don't think, or maybe it is. I can't remember. Anyway, you're flying on the Hippogriff, and they have that music playing. It's just like this epic moment. Like the Hogwarts Express goes by, and it's so classic. It's so good. That was one of the better moments of that whole thing. But I do really like Poppy's set of quests because like it's all about beasts and stuff, which is like one of the more fun aspects of the game is the beast stuff. And like capturing beasts out there in the world. But I love her. I love her personality. I love how dedicated she is like to the animals. And then I also love just like the quest where you guys go and then like you find this dragon. Well, first you find this dragon egg. So then you want to go and like give this back to the mama dragon. And she finds her. And then it's like this whole thing where you're like running between these buildings and stuff to like, you know, avoid dragon fire and just like, I don't know, there's something so majestic about like the dragon. Because you don't actually see dragons that much in this game. The final boss is a dragon, but that's like a fake dragon. It's like the power of the ancient magic makes Ranrock a dragon. So it's like, that's not really a dragon. It's not like Skyrim where you're fighting dragons all the time, you know, but... yeah, there's just something so cool about that and that quest line, and I love Poppy. I love her whole thing. The dynamic between Poppy and your main character is great. If you were able to like romantically go with somebody, even if just of the three from the main quest line, which I understand that they probably would have tried to make it more heteronormative or whatever, you know, but if they were gonna do that, but so they probably wouldn't put more boys in there or whatever, but I like that. I would have gone with her is my point. Anyway, she was my favorite of the three, personality wise, and her quest line was great. The only thing holding me back is like Sebastian Sallow's quest line was also really cool. There's a lot of really great lore bits. He's got this friend, Ominous Gaunt, who like the Gaunts or who, you know, eventually create Voldemort, Tom Riddle. So like there's just so much intrigue there. Apparently he's blind too, like, which is really kind of interesting. There's like this whole place, the Undercraft, which is like this secret room in Hogwarts that you've like never heard of. But then you like go on these little different quests around the world and then around Hogwarts, and his sister is like cursed by goblin magic, or so he thinks. It might be goblin magic. I'm not sure actually. Because at the end he says that it's, my character anyway, she says that it's Rookwood that did it, but I can't remember if he did it with goblin magic or if he just did it with his own magic or something. I don't know if there was like a definitive answer to that, but also she's still cursed by the end, and like was there no, there wasn't, there couldn't have been. I finished all the quests, like how there couldn't have been more to that, right? Because I did them all. So... or did I? Is there more quests? How could there be more quests, though? There wasn't, because I got 100% on all of the little things. And that would include their quests. But it did feel a little unresolved, you know, with the... like, I feel like... But you know what's also interesting is I got an achievement when I completed the Natty quests, and then I got one for her, for Poppy for sure. Maybe I think I got one for Sebastian Sallow as well, yeah. I don't know. It felt a little unresolved was my point about his like sister, and you know, she's still gonna be cursed because like the whole thing was he was trying to go around and find these like relics and spells and stuff to like take away his sister's curse, which is like very noble. But the uncle or uncle, it's not his father, his uncle. Is that his sister? His twin sister. The parents must have died or something, if I remember correctly. And then they live with their uncle, who doesn't believe that there's a cure for the curse, and so he's like actively going against anything Sebastian is trying to do, which is just weird, because you think if he could help, you would help. It's not like it's gonna make her any worse for the most part. Um, but it's really at near the end he ends up killing his uncle, which is how you learn the Avada Kedavra curse. But um, yeah, which is really interesting because that's that's what I liked about his storyline. First of all, you learn the unforgivable curses in his storyline. That's pretty cool. You know, that's one point above Poppy's storyline where you don't really learn anything, or Natty's storyline where I don't believe you learn anything necessarily. But yeah. So he teaches you the unforgivable curses at different points. There's a lot of dungeons and dungeoneering in his thing, and a lot of like puzzly stuff, which was really cool, and I liked that a lot. I liked when you went through like Slytherin's secret area in the castle or whatever. I thought that was a really cool section and really well done. Um, yeah, I liked that a lot. That was really cool. I also liked the pensive memories, and there was that whole section where you're like playing a pensive memory. I thought that was really cool. There's like these characters, the founders, or not the founders. They're not the founders. They're the keepers. That's what I was gonna say. Is they're very much like the founders because there's one from each house, but they're not the founders. They're the keepers. Um. So yeah. And they have like this storyline about this ancient magic, and this ancient magic like gives you the ability to take away other people's pain, and there's this Isadora girl who that's her whole thing, and then that's what Ranrock, this goblin, is chasing, is this ancient magic, these repositories and all this stuff. And the idea is you want to keep it hidden and do that, so that's why there's these trials. So you have to do these trials throughout the game in order to be worthy of wielding the ancient magic or whatever, because your character can see ancient magic, which, by the way, also something that your character can see is Thestrals, because right away, as you're going to Hogwarts or whatever, you see a guy get blasted off of you're in this carriage in the sky, and then you like jump off or something, somehow you get away from there, or like you're in a different carriage. I don't remember exactly how it happens. Anyway, this other guy, he's falling in his carriage, and then you see, like, the Thestrals just appear, and you're like, that motherfucker just died, and now I can see Thestrals. It's very dark, you know, but it's super cool, and interesting. They definitely needed you to be able to see him, because they're one of the beasts later in the game that you can go and collect or whatever. But, I just thought that was, like, crazy. That was super interesting at the beginning of the game there. That was like, wow, okay, that's kind of dark, but, that's something I liked about the Sebastian Sallow, line of quests as well, is just, it felt like, it almost even overshadowed the main game at some points, you know. I think it was what a lot of people said, and I kind of agree with that. But I really liked his. It felt very consequential. It felt like almost this, the, side story, gosh, I'm a writer. How do I not know this thing? Like the secondary plot, you know, the B plot is what yeah, exactly. The B plot to the main plot, you know, there. So, but I really like that. I really liked Poppy's storyline, of course. I liked Natty's storyline as well. She's got this thing with her mom. She's kind of a rebellious and all of this, and she's trying to learn about like she's trying to, her father like sacrificed himself for her as a child or whatever, and then she does the same thing for you at the end of the game, and she like figures out that that's what he did, you know, and she's like, oh, that's great. I mean, I can be okay with that now, you know. It was his sacrifice, because she was really grappling with that for a long time. But yeah, I really like each of the storylines decently enough. The other two I really enjoy. The Natty one is pretty good, you know. It didn't blow me away by any means. Okay, there was that scene with the hippogriffs. That was cool, but I really liked Poppy's, though. You know, they got the stuff with the beasts and the dragons, and you're going and fighting one of the main forces, the poachers that are out in the world. Because there's like poacher camps out in the world, there's like goblin camps out in the world, and then there's like, you know, like wild enemies like spiders and stuff out there. But they're one of the main antagonistic forces. Is that so? The fact that you and Poppy are kind of taking that on together is really cool. And then also, there's a lot of different things with beasts and hers, and then also the centaurs make like a kind of a big piece of her storyline, and I thought that was really cool near the end there, when the centaurs play more into it, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's neat, you know, I like that. It's a good touch. So, because you don't really get to see them much outside of that, so that's cool. Also, exploring the, like, world is cool, like, just going into the Forbidden Forest and just, like, walking around in there, and you can go to that lake, from, Prisoner Azkaban, and she even makes, a mention, my character even makes a mention about, like, something about stags or something, and I was like, it's the lake from Prisoner of Azkaban, you know, the iconic, Expecto Patronum, you know, like that thing. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Um, yeah, so I thought that was really cool. And you can find a unicorn out there. I never found like a male unicorn to get him to like mate or whatever, but I didn't really look hard enough either. And I guess you can mate phoenixes as well, because there's supposedly a phoenix offspring. That's like one of the two that I couldn't do. And then I don't know if you could mate Graphorns, because that mean you'd have to find another Graphorn, which maybe you can do that. I really don't know. But I did breed all of the other types of creatures, because that was one of the things that you have to do for the Room of Requirement thing to complete that. So that's another aspect of the game that's really cool, is the Room of Requirement. You can kind of build it to be your own. One of the main collectibles, like I said, is the gear. You can upgrade your gear at the Room of Requirements with the loom. You have to get a little ways into the storyline to do that. But you also have a house elf there, Deke, which is just a funny name. But you actually get to go into the Room of Missing Things of Room of Requirement, or the Room of like Hidden Things, I think it's called. Before you get to like your Room of Requirement. So there's some cool references in there, like the Vanishing Cabinet and stuff, from Harry Potter, like, you know, the main series. That was always the coolest part of like the Room of Requirement for me, other than like the DA stuff, was like the Room of Hidden Things. And it's like, man, if I could just go and explore that, and you can kind of do that. You're on like a set path, but it also is cool to just look around and stuff. I would love to look at it in Harry Potter's time and like look around there, because he was like, what he said was it was like a city of like, you know, items and whatnot, which is cool. So I would really love to see that as well. But it was cool to just see it in there. But anyway, so then when you get the Room of Requirement, you got Deke, and he'll give you different quests to do, and that'll unlock different parts of the room. Like, initially you've got like, you can do potion tables and stuff, which like potions in this game are just okay. They kind of do things that you can already do, or just enhance things, but you don't really need to enhance things. What you really need to do is upgrade your gear and get all of the little icon things out in the world, so that you can you know, by taking on bandit camps and stuff, so that you can get the things to attach to your items, so you can get like better magic resistance and better magic attack and better this and better that. This spell will do better, that spell will do better, all spells will do better, you know. It's like, or protection from this, protection from that. You need all of those. I mean, you don't need all of those, but that's the kind of stuff that really makes you more powerful. Potions are really sort of useless, honestly. Like, even the healing potion, I never ran through all of them, and I would constantly have a thing full of them. And yeah, I probably played on one of the easier difficulties, but I mean, you know, maybe it would be better in the harder difficulties. I guess that's where potions really come in. They can like make you stronger and do all that sort of stuff. And they have like the herbology, like you can get like mandrakes and like venomous tentaculas and stuff to like go and sick on enemies. But it's like, I don't really normally use any of that stuff because it's kind of useless. You know, your spells are already super powerful anyway. Um, so I honestly think that that's more where you want to be, just upgrading your spells and your gears and stuff. You know, if you want to be into potions and do all that, that's great. So they have potion tables. You can buy, there's all these, they call them spellcrafts that you can buy from the store, something in Tomes, in Hogsmeade there. And Hogsmeade is kind of like your Diagon Alley. I was kind of surprised that they didn't, like, let you go to Diagon Alley at all. Like, you don't ever get to go there. It's just like Hogsmeade is your Diagon Alley. They have an Ollivanders and all that kind of stuff there. What else do they have? They have, like, the Beast Shop there that you don't get until, like, way later. They've got, like, a potions ingredients shop. They've got, like, the guy who sells all of the uniforms and stuff. So you can get a bunch of different cosmetic stuff there. But also, the thing is, you're constantly finding gear in this game if you're paying attention. So you, first of all, you need to do the Merlin trials so that you can be able to hold a bunch of it, so then you can go sell it at the shop, because that's like the main way of making money in this game, is selling gear and then selling beasts back to the beast store there, which is funny because they constantly tell you that, like, it's so bad to, like, be poaching beasts, and then of course what am I doing? I'm poaching beasts. But I know that I'm selling them to someone, like, you know, good, for them at least, you know, so I mean, at least there's that. But I just find that horribly ironic, is that, you know, you have all these beasts inside of your room requirement, and you're taking care of those beasts, but, like, Poppy is constantly like, beast poaching is bad, and you're like, okay, sorry. It's like, I love beasts, I just wanted my vivarium back at, my room requirement. Anyway, so let's get back to that. So, you have, like, herbology stations in there and stuff, and that's how you grow the mallow sweet leaves to, use for for the Merlin trials. And there's different, plants and stuff you can grow in there, again, for, like, potions, ingredients and stuff. And it's like, I didn't do most of that because it's like, I don't really need that. There's also a bunch of items you find throughout the world that are, like, conjurations that you can use to, like, you know, Animal Crossing style, make your room of requirement very much your own. I went for, like, a very practical room of requirement, and each of my vivariums only ever had, like, the breeding pens and the food stations, which, like, I felt like those food stations never worked. They worked kind of at the beginning of the game, and then for some reason after that, they never worked. So I would always have to, like, go feed and then play with each animal, you know, so, or beast or whatever. And you do that so that you get materials so that you can upgrade your gear, because each of the beasts, like feathers and unicorn horns and stuff, are how you use to upgrade your gear. So you need all of that stuff. So you're always wanting to look out for beasts out in the overworld, and you can breed beasts too, which doesn't really do much other than get you the achievement or whatever to achievement, like the whatever you call it, the thing for your field guide thing. So yeah, I don't really know what the purpose of breeding them is, just because you can, I guess. I don't know, but it's cool. It's fun to, like, go into the little different vivariums. There's, like, a swamp, there's, like, a beach, there's, like, a forest, there's, like a mountainy little area, I guess. But they're all really cool to see, and then, like, you release your animals there, your beasts there, and you can go and just hang out and interact with them and stuff. And I think that's cool. That was a really fun aspect of the game, and I love the music there in the little beast area. Is also one of my favorite tracks in the game. I think the music in this game is just super good too, because it's like, you know, it has a lot of callbacks to the John Williams scores from the movies, but they don't exactly do those. But I heard one of the producers talking about, or like the designers or directors or whatever, somebody who worked on the game was talking about it, and he's like, yeah, we have like our main theme is kind of like an earlier version of Hedwig's theme from the Harry Potter movies, because they're like, this is such a great piece, but there's probably an earlier version of that piece, in the lore of that world, even though you can't like hear that music anywhere actually in the Harry Potter world, I'm sure, but like, you know, so he kind of, because Hogwarts Legacy happens like, like 100 years before Harry Potter, so it's like they wanted to take that back, and so then, that was what happened. So it was cool. It was just like it feels like that theme, but it feels like sort of a different version of that, which at first felt kind of cheap, but then when I heard that, I'm like, okay, so they're kind of doing their own thing, which I think is fine. I've heard a lot of people complain about that, though, is that like the music isn't the iconic John Williams score, but then that's kind of boring too to have that. It's not like it was. It's okay, because like in this game, like in that Chamber of Secrets game, you would expect the John Williams score, because that's, an earlier game, and it's actually based on Harry Potter. But this is not related to Harry Potter. I mean, it is, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's about Hogwarts. It's about the wizarding world, more so than Harry Potter himself. Hedwig's theme is the theme of Harry Potter. Harry Potter. This is Hogwarts Legacy. I keep doing this because I'm mirrored. This is Hogwarts Legacy here. And so they wanted their own sort of version of the Harry Potter theme. So they came up with that, which is fine. It's great. Bunch of great songs in the games. I've mentioned a bunch of them already. I love a lot of the music in the game. I think it's great. Obviously, the John Williams score for the movies is iconic, but you can't just copy that and then put it in. It would have made more sense if it was in this game, which it's not, for the most part. I don't think there's any of them. They don't even have, like, the main Harry Potter theme in that, even though it's the licensed game of the movie, like, I don't understand why they couldn't get the score for the movie for the game, it's fine, though. I mean, this has hints towards those songs, though, and those are always fun to see. And there's hints towards a lot of the future Harry Potter stuff, or, like, iconic locations from Harry Potter, like the clock tower, or, like, the bridge near the clock tower, where you're like, oh, that's where Lupin and Harry talked that one time, or, like, this, everything's gonna be different, isn't it? And it's like, that iconic thing, and then it's like, like the Great Hall. It's just so cool to stand in the Great Hall and be like, oh man, it looks a lot smaller when you're standing there in the Great Hall, and obviously it probably is a lot smaller than it like is later. The perspective on that is just so interesting, because it looks so much bigger in the movies and stuff, but like, I mean, I think that might just be because like you're not really looking up and like seeing, but even that is like, you can see, you don't that's I think a lot of what was missing from the game, is that like there's so many iconic Harry Potter, like from the books and stuff, things where you're like in the Great Hall, like troll in the dungeon, or like that scene, me and Luna, that's what I'm thinking of course. I go back to the scene where she's wearing like the Gryffindor lion hat, and she's like, you look dreadful, Ron. Is that why Harry put something in your drink? And he's like, the Felix Felicis, and Hermione thinks that it's the Felix Felicis, but it's not. Stuff like that. That's all in the Great Hall. You never get to, like, go in there and just, like, hang out, have breakfast with, like, your friends or whatever. Like, that is the kind of stuff the game needed more of. I honestly could see the Great Hall being a great, like, introduction to each quest line. Like, I understand that you want to put, like, barriers of gated time on each thing. But, like, let's say, you get to introduce to Poppy during the Beast class, which is, like, much later into the game. Okay, so how about, we do the Beast class together. We could even maybe do the... okay, to be fair, what I'm describing is in the game, actually, because, like, a lot of times in between quests, you'll just go to the Great Hall to talk to whoever it is, and then you'll leave. but they're just like standing up to the side. It's not like oh hey, you're sitting at the the table there. Why couldn't it be that just like there's a time of day, like, because there is day and night, because they have to have the characters elsewhere in the building so that you can. But okay, here's what I'm asking: if you load into the Great Hall in the morning, right, in the daytime, like, the characters don't have to be elsewhere at that point. Put them in the Great Hall so that I can just go and interact with them in the Great Hall if I want to, and just have a few like offshoot conversations where we just talk about like, oh, wasn't that potions class hard, or like, hey, that, are you worried about your owl finals or something? I don't know, just little interactions like that. And okay, to be fair, here's what I did. I skipped a lot of that dialogue. I would usually just not dive into the further stuff, but that was always about the quest. What about the in-between stuff where we're just kind of chatting and having, like, having a little chat about what's going on during the year, It's like, I can imagine just being a student, like, in the time of Harry Potter would be so interesting. Like, you'd hear these rumors, like, about things that are happening, or like, imagine being in the third year and you're like, oh man, Sirius Black, he could be around any corner, and there'd be a lot of gossip about that, or like, the Triwizard Tournament. There'd be so much to talk about with the Triwizard Tournament, It's like theory crafting about like, oh, I wonder what that egg is. How do you imagine that you go about it? And even if you're not Harry, you're thinking about it, you're out there talking about it, or like, oh gosh, who am I going to ask to the Yule Ball or something? It's like, that kind of stuff would have been the stuff that I would have liked to have, talk to people about in the Great Hall. I don't know, just anything, even if it wasn't about events or anything, just like, let's just chat, let's just gossip, I know it's such a silly thing that would have granted a lot more of that like student life to the game, and maybe filled in some of those gaps of like, maybe just more classes or something, more little class cutscenes or something. Early on in the game, the teachers have you do like little tasks, and then you come back and you like do the class. I mean, there could have been more of that, and that would have definitely filled out the game more. Maybe it would have felt like filler, but at the same time, it's just like, I love seeing those little classes, because that was like what we were missing, I want to say about I fell over. Chamber Secrets, this video game, and then Philosopher's Stone, the classes are very like, usually go and you'll do something like kind of crazy in them, and you'll have like a little adventure in the class. Like, that's what I want. That's what we all want to do. We want to be Hogwarts students, like, we want to go to a beast class, and we want it to be in the Forbidden Forest, and we want it to be like one of Hagrid's beast class, where we fly around in the hippogriff or something. I don't know, stuff like that. It should be cool. Like, I thought the beast class was cool. It's just like, you want more, you want more of the stuff that we didn't get, and I don't think it necessarily needs to be like an academia simulator of sorts, but I mean, more of those elements would be cool, and then make the, social, or that's, I was gonna say, make the relationship lines more like the social links from Persona or something. Like, that's a fun part of Persona. Take the Persona engine, make it Harry Potter themed or Hogwarts themed, and there you go. That's it. That's all you gotta do. I mean, can we just have like a Persona turn-based Harry Potter game again? Like, that'd be cool. Can you imagine what they could do with that in this day and age, though? That'd be so much fun. I don't know. There's a lot of potential. I know, I'm sitting here complaining about things throughout the games, but these are literally the things that are the only things that are wrong with the game. Is just, I wanted more, I just wanted more, and that's what's cool about the game, is really the stuff that works just works, exploring the world is just so magical, because you're just running around, and especially when you're in Hogwarts, and you're just like, look, it's Sir Cadogan, and like, oh, it's the Ravenclaw Tower, this is so cool, I've never actually been here before, because the books don't want to tell me anything about it, like, outside of like the one time in Deathly Hallows where you go there, but, or like, oh, the room of requirement, or like, you get to see the troll, thing. They have like all the details from the books. Like, they really did that, and that was cool. Like, you even get to see stuff you would never get to see in the books, like the the room with the book that like knows people are magical or whatever, and like or like the headmaster's office, like you get to see that in the books, obviously in the movies, but like seeing it, I like Dumbledore's version of it better, like, you know, 100 years later. It's a little darker and like, you know, nicer. I don't know. I think it's really cool, but like getting to go there though is also really cool, you know, and just like seeing that is neat. Just exploring the castle and like getting, okay, so there's like a point like I would say about halfway or midway through the game where you get Alohomora and you can start upgrading that, and then you have to go and find the demiguise statues at night, and once you've done that, then you can upgrade Alohomora, where it's just like this little mini game that you play every time you unlock the locks or whatever, which gets annoying after a while, but you know, it's not that hard. So um once you have Alohomora, you can really start exploring the overworld more, and like buildings and stuff, and then like also all these rooms in Hogwarts that are like, you know, locked, and it's very Metroidvania-esque, where you're like, oh man, now I can go back there and open that door or whatever, and you know, it's so cool to just like continuously unlock these secret rooms in the castle and just like look around and stuff, you know, like this is possibly, I mean, it has to be, right? This is the most detailed version of Hogwarts we've ever had, and that is just so much. I mean, that concept alone is just running around Hogwarts is just so good, and then you add like side quests and stuff and like all of that, which is so good, and then on top of that you have likable characters and great music, and just the aesthetic of the game is cool. Just the feeling of being a wizarding Hogwarts student is great, and I so much appreciate that. That is all I was looking for, and they I know I said there was a lot of things that are missing from the game, but they also have exceeded my exceeded expectations. You know, the owl, they did it. They exceeded expectations on that. They definitely didn't get a troll. I can't even think of a Harry Potter game that is like troll worthy that I've played. I haven't played that many of them, but is there something below troll? Because that's what Final Fantasy 13 is. Anyway, so you know, I just loved it. I had such a good time with it. Um, I loved exploring the world and collecting things and doing all the Merlin trials and the ancient magic and all the little collectibles and stuff were great. Doing the little dungeons that are just out there in the world is cool. And what else? I mean, the trials for the main story is cool. Um, just getting to know the three main, you know, relationship line characters is great. Doing their quests was always great. Magical creatures, I think I've said that, but like I love that. I love the vivarium aspect. I don't know, every time I would just go in there, I'd just feel like, oh my god, it's my creatures, you know. It's like, yeah, it's me, the cat person, you know, who loves taking care of animals, of course, but so yeah, you know, it's so magical. I mean, that's the word to describe it, right? It's magical. There's so many cool things. Oh, there's like other little, so many like collectibles and things you have to like run around and find. Like there's the landing zones and like those astronomy tables where you do a little puzzle to like make it into a constellation. Like finding all of those is tricky, and then like that's the thing, is like you better keep good track of it, because otherwise you're not gonna know which ones you have and haven't found, and you'll have to like spend a few hours like going through a guide like I did at the end and finding the very last one, or just randomly running onto your last Revelio page out in the overworld that you need, type of thing, which is cool. And then like, I don't know, I love doing that. I love doing the side quests, and I loved exploring the little random towns, or like Revelio, and then finding this chest, and it's like, how do I get to that chest? There was still a few I couldn't find. There was one over by the area where Sir Cadogan is, and when you're going into the Ravenclaw Tower, and there's two chests sitting there above you, and I tried to figure out every which way I could go to get to those chests, and I don't know how you get to those chests. And I was wondering, and I'm like, maybe it's somehow related to the, like, Gryffindor common room or something, but they wouldn't show you if you couldn't get them, right? I don't know. That's a fun thing, is like when you find the other common rooms, you can't go inside them, but they'll give you little fun things, like the one will spit wine at you, and the one will, like, what is it? The Gryffindor lady just says, like, you don't have the password or whatever. Did I ever find where's the Slytherin one at? Yeah, I know I went there at some point, but yeah, I'm trying to think of that one. Huh. Anyway, oh God, I know I keep saying it. I just loved exploring the castle. I'm just thinking about different little parts of the castle right now, and it's just like, oh, there's these doors that you have to do arithmancy for, and there's like, this like arch outside of them that has like these different beasts on it or whatever, and you have to match up, and do math to figure out like how much each, like, what, because they have like a thing in the middle that says like, okay, this one plus this one plus this one, and it's like, okay, so what does that equal? And then I have to go find the beast that corresponds with that kind of thing. Those were cool, and those always led to like some neat like little treasure rooms or whatever, so that was fun. They also have history and magic class, which is interesting, where you just kind of, everyone's favorite professor, Professor Binns, the ghost or whatever, so that was kind of fun. That was a cool little side quest there. And I liked that kind of stuff, and that's more of what I wanted. Honestly, that is the diagram for what I would have wanted. Can we just do some quests where we, like, run around the castle and, like, have the students that are from the other quests, like, just hang out and be in your class and stuff. And, like, that was cool. That's what I wanted, And a lot of those students were in your class, and it's like, but I don't know. It just went too fast. Maybe I should have been, like, really savored it more or whatever. So, I don't know. I really did enjoy it, though. I had such a good time playing this game. There's so much to explore. There's so much to find. I haven't even talked about Hogsmeade that much, but that was such a cool area to, like, just have be your kind of, like, hub city of like, different little things going on. There's so much happening in Hogsmeade, and it's just fun. You've had a troll there at one point. There's some different bosses in this game. They're nothing, like, too crazy challenging, but they're fun. It was interesting that they kind of dove into the whole Goblin Rebellion side of things, and, like, but, like, goblins weren't always necessarily bad. There's, like, a goblin that helps you who's Ranrock's brother, and he gets killed during, like, one of the last quests. That's another thing. The fact that your professor dies was kind of shocking. Like, he's there the whole game. I haven't even barely talked about, like, Professor Fig or Weasley or any of the other ones. I thought it was so cool how all the professors come and, like, help you in the final, like, stretch towards Ranrock. That's the kind of stuff that I just absolutely fucking adore in storytelling or, like, video games, is when all the characters come together at the end to kind of help you and whatnot. And I love that kind of thing. That is, just so beautiful. Even my favorite movie of all time, like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, like, he meets all these people throughout his adventure, and then, like, they're all there at the movie at the end, and it's like, there's just something nice about that, get all that, like, little closure, like, they all get their little chance to help you at the end, and it's like, this is nice, this is cool. Like, I like these professors. They're all really cool. And then they have, like, such a nice little ceremony there for Professor Fig and the Great Hall there and all of that stuff, and that's just so nice, It's really good. I like the ending a lot. I just another couple odd things that there were. So, like, your character, sometimes people will refer to you as a witch, but they never use gendered pronouns for you, which is, like, I know it's like a whole controversy thing, but they always say they and them, which is interesting. So it's like your character is canonically non-binary if you really think about it, which is super interesting. Um, it's just like I don't mind that, but at the same token, like my character gets called a witch, so like, can I be a she or no? I guess I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying it's like it's just interesting. It's kind of strange. And then yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's a great game. It's so good though. It's so much fun. It's so magical to just run around that world and to just really, be there and exist in the Harry Potter world and get a little more of the Ravenclaw experience because like none of that is in the books like at all. So like it's great. And I was wondering if they were gonna do the thing where like you have to constantly answer the questions. You only have to ever do it the first time, and your character just kind of answers it for you, because that's how you get into the Ravenclaw common room, by the way, if you didn't know. But I thought that was going to be a thing, and it really wasn't. And I wonder if at any time they like give you um, new passwords for like the Gryffindor or the Slytherin. How does Slytherin and Hufflepuff work? Do they have passwords? I have no idea. Anyway, um, that was another nice thing is that like again, other than Ravenclaw, all the house. I mean, the Ravenclaws were there. They were represented, but they were never part of like the main storylines. They were always like the side characters, Um, but there was no fourth Ravenclaw student that was like the main Ravenclaw student for a main side quest line. So like that was a little odd. I would have definitely done some more with that or like whatnot. Um, oh, I haven't even talked about all the spells that you get to learn. So you get to learn like a plethora of spells, and there's like a red spell, like a purple spell. There's like yellow spells, and then there's like the white spells, and the green spells, which are like the unforgivable curses. But you learn four different purple spells, which are all like summoning and moving things. So like there's Descendo, which like you can use to slam an enemy down. There's Accio, of course, which you use to pull stuff towards you. And then later on, once you learn Wingardium Leviosa, which is a white spell, by the way, Accio will automatically do Wingardium Leviosa on whatever you're pulling. So that's good. And then there's Dupulso, which pushes stuff away. And then there's Flipendo, which allows you to flip stuff around, and you use that for like a Merlin trial and like a couple of rooms and stuff. And then so those are kind of like moving stuff around spells, and that's all the purple spells. And then you have the red spells, which are all like fire and aggressive spells. So you have like Expelliarmus, and you have like Defendo, which is like it's a cut spell. And then you have Confringo, which is like a fire spell, and then you have Bombarda, which is like an explosion spell. And you learn Inferno or something like that early on, which is just a worse version of Confringo, basically. Confringo you can fire like farther away to fire stuff. Like the Inferno one, you just use it to like light stuff near you. So it's like, you never use that one once you got Confringo, because there's like really no point, it's just a worse version of that. It gets kind of power crept out. So of course there's like the spells that you don't have to set to your little spell thing too, like, which is like Alohomora and Revelio and stuff. You just kind of use those out in the world. But there's also, okay, so then you have the yellow spells. You have Glacius, or Glaciate, or whatever, which freezes enemies. You have Leviosa, or Levioso. Levioso? because Wingardium Levioso is that one. I think it's Levioso, which allows you to just like lift stuff. Which you're like, what? Why would you do that when you get Wingardium Leviosa? Wingardium Leviosa lets you move stuff, but if you want something just lifted and to be stationary, like a platform that you can crawl on, you're gonna have to use Leviosa. So it is still useful at that point. And then there's what else is there yellow wise? I'm trying to think. Ones I didn't use as much, that's for dang sure. I don't know, there's two other yellow ones too. Um Yellow. Oh, Arresto Momento, which stops things in their tracks. It's a lot like Glaciate, except it doesn't freeze them, it just stops things. You can actually use that for puzzles too, like when you do the clock tower puzzle and whatnot. Oh, and then the transformation spell is one of the yellow spells as well. So, okay, so there's those. And then there's like Lumos and Wingardium Leviosa, and then... Sorry, Leviosa, not Leviosa. And then... What are the other white ones? There's some other white ones too. And then there's like the beast spells where you like feed the beast and like pet the beast and stuff. And like capture the beast. You have like the beast bag thing. Honestly, this movie, or sorry, this book, this game makes me want to go back and watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them because I'm so like attached to the like beast keeping aspect of like the magical wizarding world now. I just love that, like, you know, with my vivarium and all that. It was so cool. It makes me feel like I'd appreciate like seeing a Niffler or a Puffskin again, you know, because it's like I know what those are now, you know, like of course everyone knows Thestrals, but like, you know, or Hippogriffs, but it's like, you know, Kneasels, those barely ever get mentioned other than like Crookshanks is part Kneasel or something. But you know, they're fun. Deercrawls and Jabberknolls and I'm trying to think of what are the other ones that you have. Mooncalves and unicorns. I said that one earlier. Phoenix and I'm probably forgetting one that I just can't think of right now. Nifflers, I said that. Anyway, so there's a lot of cool beasts in the game, and it's just a lot of fun to like go and take care of them and like just see them, you know, hanging out, flying around and stuff, and just like or just playing around. Yeah. So I mean, it's just a great game, you know. Um, Overall, you know. Like you have an owl, it goes and it'll like kind of get you messages from people and stuff, and then you like hear them read the messages out to you. It's pretty cool. I think that's it. I think that's like kind of all the things that I need to talk about. Oh, talent points. So there's like it's like skill points, you know. You get to every time you level up, which you level up by doing things that are like the challenges of the game. They're like achievements that you do throughout the game or whatever. So like kill 40 trolls or, you know, goblins or whatever, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And then like do the Merlin trials or like do this, do that. And then, you know, like quests. If every time you do stuff like that, and it's not always just killing enemies, because once you've killed enough enemies to get the end of that challenge, those don't count towards XP anymore. So at a certain point, you kind of max out on that. So it's very interesting. It's not like just go kill a bunch of enemies and then you're going to be able to level up to 40. You kind of have to do everything in the game to level up to 40. But anyway, so you get talent points that you can put towards things that you want to specialize in, and you're like 8 points, I think, away from the end where there's like eight. I think it's like 10. I think there's like 10 points that you can't use towards anything, because I know I did like there was like two. There was like increased Wiggum one, healing, and like one other like spell one that I didn't do, and then I didn't do any of the room requirements ones, like if you notice, because I didn't care about like potions or any of that, and that's mostly what that's kind of linked to. Um, but I got most of the like unforgivable curse ones, and like a lot of that stuff just kind of makes your spells better, and it makes them do things. Like a lot of the dark arts ones make it so it curses your enemy, and then once they're cursed, it's kind of like poisoning them almost, where it'll slowly like sap away health, um, or like it'll have certain effects based on like certain things or whatever, kind of thing. So that's fun. And then there's just little upgrades to your spells, and that like it'll make it work better, or like the one with, oh my god, as soon as you could get the one that increases the Revelio thing. That works just so much better when it's like a bigger area, which is nice. So I mean, that is definitely worth it to do like almost right away. I really love that one. But yeah, it talent points are useful, helpful. You can reassign them now. Every video that I've ever seen is like, be careful, you can't reassign them. You can now, because it's a little bit later into this game's life, so they've kind of fixed a few things that people complained about. um oh, there's a cool side quest that's like sort of DLC content that they released later, where you get a house elf and you get to run a shop or whatever. But you go through this like giant dungeon of like just horror, like Alice in Wonderland kind of horror stuff, and it's just it's pretty cool. That's a good one. That's a good side quest. And then you get to keep the house elf and run your own little shop there in Hogsmeade. That's cool. But yeah, I think I've pretty much talked about every aspect of the game I want to talk about, and I love basically all of this game, and anything that I complained about or said there needed to be more of was really just me saying that, like, I wanted more to the game that I already loved. So all of that is to say there are minor flaws, but none of it really detract. I think the worst one is the load times, but even that, like, didn't detract me from loving the game. So just on the sheer fact that this is a game where you can run around Hogwarts and you can be a Hogwarts student, even though there could have been more of that, and you have like really great side characters, especially Poppy, and as Sebastian are great, and but Poppy especially are just the best. She's the best. So the beast elements, the room requirement stuff is all cool. Exploring the overworld is really sweet, and Hogwarts, and finding all the little secrets in Hogwarts, the Alohomora stuff to just unlock new areas, and it's so exciting to be running around and exploring and finding new stuff and gear upgrades and stuff, and you're constantly always like trying to make your gear better and stuff. So every element of the game like really ties into each other, and it's all symbiotic, because you need to keep up with your beasts so that you can upgrade your gear, and you need to do the potion stuff and do all of the herbology stuff so that you have those for out in the world, and this and that, that kind of stuff. It's just really nice that it all kind of ties in together. And then I loved doing the classes and stuff, even though there should have been more of them. I still loved them. I loved what we had. I liked the side quests, a lot of them. Some of them were just okay, but like most, I don't think there was a single one where I'm like, this quest sucks, basically. It was all cool, and there was a lot of different cool areas they took you to, and just exploring, like I said, exploring the overworld. That is the main thing, like exploring Hogwarts, the overworld, Hogsmeade, trying to find all the fucking Revelio pages. It's just a whole thing, but it is so much fun to do. And despite my constant complaints about, God damn it, I hear the noise. Where the fuck is this page? I know it's here. I know it's here. It's just well hidden, but I know it's fucking here. And so yeah, but especially like your first several hours with the game, and I mean, okay, to be fair, it is a little bit annoying that like you need to do a lot. I would say do as much of the main quest as you can. But see, if you do that, also the seasons go really fast because there's also season changes in this. But like, you at least want to get to the point where you get like a low Homora, because then you'll have most of the spells and you'll have like most of the world to be able to unlock, and then you can go after the demiguises, and that's another fun collectible to get. And it's just like, it's a very explorative game, and I really appreciate that, because it's an explorative game. We're exploring the wizard world, which is super cool. Also, you get to go to Hogsmeade Station if you want, and like, it's not like an area you have to go to, but it's just so cool to stand there. That's the appeal of the whole game, or like a big appeal of a lot of the game to me, is just like, I am standing right here where this is where Harry, waves at Hagrid and is like, I'm not going home, not really. It's like, oh my god. Just as a big Harry Potter fan, I love to just go stand in those spots and be like, I use this spot, Yeah, this is oh gosh. Where's the tree where they hung out? Was that there ever? The Whomping Willow wasn't in the game. Wait a second. Yeah, because they put that there during Lupin's time. I wonder where that's actually supposed to be at in the grounds, like where that's eventually gonna be. Also, the Shrinking Shack doesn't exist yet, but there is an abandoned building in Hogsmeade that you like could become the Shrinking Shack. What the fuck was that? Did you see that? It's like over here. It's like a little piece of dust or something. It looked like that's the kind of shit people turn into like ghost videos or whatever. It's like dust or whatnot, but yeah, so much fun. So it's so good. It's such a good game. Every element of the game comes together super well. It's just such a fun game to explore and hang out with the characters and do magic, and you get all these spells, and they're just so much fun to just run around the world, and they all really get a pretty good amount of use, outside of like one or two spells that you really don't use that often. But a lot of them have a pretty good use. Like, especially even those like I wouldn't normally use Glaciate. Oh, that's something I didn't explain, is that the enemies sometimes have barriers around them, colored wise, that you have to use like a specific spell type on. But so yeah, so that's cool, that you have to kind of use them all, but you still use them all out in the world to just do different stuff, and that's always fun, just exploring to find every little last chest or whatever. Even though you don't really need money for that much stuff later once you bought like, but I mean, there's always the new cosmetic stuff that constantly is coming in at the clothes shop or whatever. But once you bought like a lot of the spell like conjuration stuff, which is like some of the more expensive stuff from that one guy for the room requirements, and then oh yeah, there's like the broom upgrades. You do the broom trials to get that, so that's fun. But and then the broom guile upgrade your broom, and those cost a little bit too. But once you've kind of bought all of that original main costly stuff, oh, something I didn't talk about that's really cool is the spell, that was one of the white spells I forgot, was the what is it called, the spell that turns you invisible or whatever. So that one, the sneaking spell, is really cool, because then you can sneak up on enemies, and if you sneak up on them quietly enough, you can do Petrificus Totalis, and that's one of the better things to get as an upgrade early on too, is running while using the sneaking spell, so that you can run up to them, and use a Petrificus Totalis to knock them out, and then just it's a very overpowered thing to be able to do on the enemies, but it's super good. So that's cool. But yeah, it's great. Great music, great exploration, great. Um, it is an open world game, but it is open to the extent that I feel like it's not too open. It's the right amount of open. You know what I mean for me? Because like I always get picky about the open world games where there's like nothing to do on the in between. But this is one that's certainly dense with content, like around every corner. There's always something to find, and that is the kind of stuff that I really appreciate in an open world game, because you have to have stuff around every corner. If there's empty space, it is a nightmare because then I'm like, this is a filler space. Why is this here? But they definitely filled out the world, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's why the exploration, the Revelio pages, the treasures and the collectibles all around the area, I think that's why that's so important, is because they really fill it out. There's so many cool references to like Harry Potter and the Wizarding World in general about later stuff, and so many cool little lore dumps and stuff that you can find. There's like the Daily Prophet, which I like never went and interacted with, but there's like a stand where you can see all these little cool stories and stuff. There's so many little Easter eggs around too that are just like so cool. This game is just packed with like awesome content, and I really, really appreciated that, and I really enjoyed that, especially as a Harry Potter fan. I found that just so endlessly cool. There is something that kind of bugs me, because it's like, okay, first of all, you never get to use this Expecto Patronum or see any Dementors or anything, which is disappointing, because we all want to have, that's a main staple of Harry Potter stuff. On like it's not called Pottermore anymore. That's just like Harry Potter Wizarding World or whatever. But you go and you find out what your Patronus is. That's like a big thing. Mine's a dolphin, by the way, which I just find so stupid. I took the quiz like twice. I even took the really long, like 100-question quiz that they had on like a different site, and it still gave me dolphin. So like, what the fuck? I took the one on the Wizard World site, which I'm like, okay, that one gave me dolphin. Surely the other one will give me something else, and it gave me dolphin. I get. Really? At least my secondary one was cat, so, or like something, a Yule cat or something. It was something cool, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay, yes, that's probably what my actual Patronus is. But my Harry Potter character's Patronus, I guess, is a dolphin. So maybe I didn't want Patronuses in the game. No, I'm just kidding. But no, Patronuses, right? That's a big Harry Potter thing. You definitely should have had that in the game. Just saying. And then, oh, the other thing was like, only if you're a Hufflepuff do you get to go to Azkaban for like 5 seconds. But still, like, come on, I want to go to Azkaban. Just check that out for a second. Like, that was cool, like, I got to go to the Owlery, I mean, as a Ravenclaw. Mine's probably the lamest one, but like, it was still fun, I guess. It was cool, but still, like, really? Like, I get to, at least, okay, I will say, at least there was some dialogue later on. I was always got extra dialogue with Ollivander because I helped him with his little family quest thing that the other houses didn't get to do. So that was fun, because it did kind of show up, and he talked about that later and stuff. So that was nice too. There was always a little bit extra sort of dialogue in there sometimes about like cool things that had happened. Like when I got to the end of my year and Mrs. Weasley or Professor Weasley was telling me about my year or whatever, and she's like, oh, you 100% in your field, God. And I'm like, yes, I did. And she's like, oh, you became good friends with Poppy, and like she only brought up Poppy for some reason. I don't think she brought up Natty or Sebastian Cello, but she's like, oh, you're good friends with Poppy. That's so nice. And I'm like, yes, I am. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing that I did these things. I love that. I love when games do that. And then, of course, in the House Cup, what do? They're like, you're a winner. And it's like, really? You're not going to just say Ravenclaw wins the House Cup? Like, come on. Come on. You can't have done 4 different voice reads for that. Come on. Pretty obvious. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, is that it? Oh, that's just okay. Um, but yeah, I liked the main storyline. I liked the whole ancient magic thing. I liked the founders, or God, I keep saying the fucking founders, the keepers. I thought were really cool. I liked the whole um morality issue of like, should we take away people's pain? I thought that was interesting. I thought that was cool. They didn't really explore it like super much, but like neat. Oh, one thing I will say is all the trials were pretty cool. They all had like kind of really cool like sets of stuff going on, or like some epic battle or location, or like, puzzles and stuff. Except for the fourth one. There was no fourth trial. It was just come here with a grab horn, which is just down the road, and it's like, okay. I thought there was at least going to be a dungeon after that. It felt really underwhelming, that one, because they all the other ones had that. So it's like, what? Why is this one so light on content? That was odd to me. I don't know if I like that as much, but I think when I genuinely don't have that much to complain about in a game, and when the main complaint of the game is I wanted more of this game, that's a pretty great thing to say about a game. And I do, and I love this game. And I right now think it is the definitive Harry Potter game until maybe the sequel comes out and blows it away. We will see. We will see if the sequel is as good as this. I really, really enjoyed this game. I know it's controversial as a game, but like, fuck that, alright? Stop with that shit. Again, we have to separate the game from the controversy. The game is really good. The controversy is a bad thing, sure, but buy it secondhand then, so you're not supporting J.K. Rowling. Okay. Like, cool. Like, who cares anyway? You're just gonna be like one little statistic on her, like how many games got sold or whatever. Or like if you watch the Harry Potter show, it's like you're gonna be one on a statistic of millions. Millions of people are gonna watch it if you don't or not. So probably billions of people will watch it if you don't or not. So you might as well enjoy what you want to enjoy, because you got one life and you gotta go live it, okay? And sometimes Dumbledore, it does do to dwell on dreams. I love Harry Potter. This is the dreams that it is worth dwelling upon, alright? So, live too, but, hey, sometimes it's cool to dwell on dreams, so. Harry Potter's my shit, I love it. It's great. So, and Hogwarts Legacy is great, and I know I've complained. I know I've done some complaining, but I really enjoyed almost every aspect of the game, and that's what I want to be known about the game, is that I loved it. And I had such a great time with it. I wanted to 100% it, and I technically did that. I 100%ed what the game wanted me to 100%. I didn't do all of the stuff, like I didn't do every Merlin trial or this or that, or use the Mandrake 10 times to get that trophy. Like, who cares, right? But overall, it's a pretty special game, and I really highly recommend it to any Harry Potter fan. If you were like on the fence because J.K. Rowling sucks and you're like, I shouldn't play the game, it's like, just play the game, okay? It's fun, right? It's the best Harry Potter game we've ever goddamn got. I know it's not technically a Harry Potter game. It's the best Harry Potter related game we've ever got. If you want the best Harry Potter game about Harry Potter, it's this one right here. So there you go. But yeah, I am going to give this game a 10 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it. I don't have that many complaints, and the one major complaint I have would probably have been fixed if I had a PS5 or if I had a better PC to play Steam or whatever. Which I have a decent PC to play some Steam games, but not. I didn't want to, this seems like a lot for that. So, would be the load times and the fast travel. And you fix that and you fix the game, it's perfect. So, I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel. I'm super excited to play the sequel. I know maybe I'm being a little bit optimistic, but I am kind of excited to see the HBO show. I mean, I hope it's good. I want it to be good. If they add Luna to the earlier years, it'll probably be good. But yeah, I love this game. Even with all my complaints, I love this game. 'Cause they're not really complaints. They're just little niggling nagglings, you know, so. But that's it. That's my review. Um, Gosh, I haven't done this in a while. Stick around, subscribe, keep it classic for more reviews, underrated games. And I'll see you in the next one. Emily. Uh, Diagonally. I don't know. What do you say? You know, there's not. Is there a spell to apparate? You just apparate, right?